The purpose of this video is to talk about the AirPods and how to keep them in my ears. I'm one of those that the AirPods does not fit. When I put them in my ears, they do not fit snugly. They'll fall out, and let me demonstrate. So I like the AirPods. They're pretty decent. So they're both in my ears now. My left ear is looser than my right ear, so I get a little bit of snugness with the right ear, but they both fall out and basically just kind of barely hang on at the bottom. And all I have to do is shake my head a little. Well, they're hanging on now. They don't come out now. What is up with that? They almost always fall out. And here I shoot the video and they won't come out. Look at that. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. They're not coming out right now. I think this is the first time I've done this. I just put them in and they don't fall out. So that's pretty hilarious. Anyway, I've got 3 methods that I'm gonna show you that I've been able to figure out how to keep them in my ears and keep them snug. The other thing I found out is if they're put in properly, with the right method, then the AirPods have a pretty decent sound, much better than what I originally thought there was. So I'm going to demonstrate those for you. I'll show you what I do, what the different methods are, and maybe it'll help you decide which one you want to try or try them all, whatever. I'm going to start out with the very first. So let me show you the 3 options. I like to try to do my bottom line up front. So my bottom line is I like the soft silicone earplugs solution first. I saw something like this on YouTube, so this is not an original idea, but the placement of the silicone, where it goes and how I use it, does make it unique. The other thing I saw is that you can use Moleskin padding. So it's for protecting your foot from your shoes giving you blisters, is what the Moleskin is for. So you can get it at CVS. You can get both of these at CVS. And then the third option I'm going to show you is these are like ear hooks, only a little bit better, I think. It's made by the same company, I believe. These are called PodHoox, P-O-D-H-O-O-X. And I'll show all of these in more detail right now. So the first solution that I'm going to present is not new or unusual. But what's different is these PodHoox. I think this is the same company, if I remember correctly, that make the air hooks. The difference between the air hooks and the PodHoox is that the PodHoox have this little silicone tip which fits. It doesn't fit inside your ear, but it kind of snugs up against it, and it makes the sound much better. So I really like these, and so I have used these. And all you do is you take your AirPod out, and you figure out which side is what, and then you just put it in there. You usually do the top or the bottom and just kind of angle it in, and then you work it on like that. And then you just make sure that all the holes are open so that when you put it in your ear, then it snugs in. So now I've got the PodHoox on the AirPods, nice and secure. And to put them in the ear, just kind of point them down and rotate them forward. Point it down, rotate it forward. And now they're secure in my ear. They're not going to go anywhere. Even if my ear gets wet from sweat, if I'm working out, they stay in my ear. So they're actually a really good solid solution. It's just inconvenient that you have to take them off all the time. So the advantage of this is that it's pretty easy to put on, and it stays on really well, and it helps the sound. The downside to this, of course, is when it's time to put them away, you're stuck with this. What do? You have to take them off. Every time you want to use your AirPods, you have to take this off and you have to store it somewhere. So I've got 2 methods of storage. One is I can take these and I can shove them in the little case that it came with. This is a little silicone case, and you just shove them in there, and then now you got two things that you got to carry along with you. I don't particularly like that solution. So what I came up with is, if you get an old bicycle inner tube, maybe one that has a hole, go down to your bicycle shop. I'll bet they have some that they'd be willing to give you that have holes, and they're just throwing them away. And you cut a thin piece. The reason I use this as opposed to just a rubber band is the rubber band deteriorates fairly quickly. I mean, it might last a month or two. The bicycle tire is going to last a long time, and it fits just on the outside, and you can slide it on, and then you just take the two earplugs, and I like to put them together like that so they're facing the same direction, and then you just shove them under here, and boom. Now you still have the thinness of the case. You can use this whenever you want, and you always have these with you, and you don't have to worry about losing the case or having the case separate, having everything all together. So this is a pretty decent solution, but the downside is you have to take them off and put them on every time. I got so tired of doing that I actually started looking for a different solution other than the AirPods. That's actually what got me going on evaluating other earbuds, and I'll do a separate video on that. But that's solution number one. So this is solution number two. You just go down to CVS or your local pharmacy and get some Moleskin. I tore the package off, but it's M-O-L-E-S-K-I-N, Moleskin padding. You have to get the thinner Moleskin. If you get the thick stuff, it's just way too thick. What you do is you get a good strong hole punch. Now I got this 3-letter hole punch. You can get individual hole punches, but it wasn't as strong. And all you do is you take your Moleskin and you make 4 to 6, I'm going to call them punches. And all you're trying to do is make something that fits well, that's easy and uniform, and you can use. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7. Let's go with 7. I'm probably only going to use 4. And they'll stack up like this, and then you have to dig them out with a screwdriver or something like that. I've got a couple I've already punched, so I'm going to leave them like that. Okay. Now that I've got my holes, all we're trying to do here is create friction. We need friction to be able to hold the AirPod in your ear. And you want something that's soft, and Moleskin is soft. Now here's the trick with this. You've got to place them right. If you place them correctly, you can still put your AirPods in the case, and I'll show you. So you take your AirPod and you take the backing off. Now the key is to put, we're going to put it on this end of the AirPod, and the key is to put more of it on the flat side, the inside. So you want it, more of it on this flat side than on this side, because if you have too much over here, it doesn't allow the cover to close. So I've got more on here, I've got some on top, and very little over here. And let me show you. With that, I can take it and I can still close the lid. No problem at all. Now, for my ears, because they do slip, they don't stick in well, and we put it on the bottom. Out in the same area. A little bit more towards the flat side. This is not as important because we don't have to worry about closing the lid, so it can be a little bit more even. Now we can put this in here and close the lid. So let me do the same on the other side. And there we have it. We've got the two, it's got the buttons on it, and now we can put them in our ears. So this is with the Moleskin. And you can see, put it more on the inside on the top. On the bottom you put it in the middle. But if you put it too far over, this way, the lid can't close. And this will give you a more secure fit in your ear. You can actually put another dot on top. You can't put one on the bottom. If you put one on the bottom, then it won't charge. But if you put another one on top and there's enough room, the lid may have a little trouble closing all the way, but it'll close, but you may have to like push it down, but it'll still charge. So it's a pretty good solution. Like I said, lasts about 2 weeks. Then you have to replace the dots. Let me demonstrate. So we got we'll just put it, rotate it in, put it on the top, rotate it in, and you can't tell probably, but they are secure and they're not just going to fall out just like the other ones would normally do. So the advantage of these is that you can do this and then you can put them in the case and you're pretty well set. Like I said before, I didn't know the AirPods sounded so good until I had actually had them sealed and in my ear, and I said, wow, those sound pretty decent. Now I'm going to take these dots off and I'm going to show you the third method, my favorite method, of what I use to keep the AirPods in my ear. All right, my third and favorite solution is this. So you can see these are EarPlugs. I got this at CVS, as you can see, but it's a pharmacy. They're sound and water protection. So these are silicone, they're soft silicone, and you can use it to go swimming and you don't get water in your ears, those types of things. But I saw this on YouTube as well, but the person didn't use it like this, like I'm going to use it. And I use it the same way that I use the Moleskin. What you do is you take just a little bit. You don't need a lot of this stuff. So as you can see, I've already got one of these things I've used. And you just get a little piece and I roll it in a ball like that. And then I'll just tear it or cut it in half like that. And this is going to look very familiar to you because we just did this with the Moleskin. You take this and you put it on top and you have it, you spread it out just a little bit so that more of it's on this flat side, the inside, and a little bit on top, and nothing over on the front really. So kind of like that. And then you do the same thing with the bottom up at the front. Now the advantage of the silicone, you probably can't tell, but it's a little bit sticky. So not only do you get the friction, but you get a little sticky in there too. Now you say, well, isn't it going to stick to the inside? Yeah, it sticks a little bit, but you just have to work it so that it stays on the earplug. Now, if you just left it like that, it wouldn't plug in, but if you push down on it, now as you see the green light came on, and now it's charging. And you can actually pull this out now, and it's stuck on there. And now when I put this in and push down a little bit, snug it up, it's charging. And look at there, I can close the lid. If I close the lid, and when I go to open it, it's a little bit sticky. And if you're over too far, I don't know if you can see that, it rubbed a little bit of the silicone off, and it'll work to the right size. Then do the same thing on the other. We'll just take a little piece, not much. About booger size is what I'd say. And do the same thing. Mostly over on the flat side. One on the top. One on the bottom. Mostly over on the flat side. Open it up, drop it in, push it down so it conforms. Close the lid, squish a little. That's done. And you see when you open it, it might come up just a little bit, but as a general rule, it stays on well. The advantage of this is that it just, for me, seems to work better than the Moleskin. I like the way that it hangs on because it's a little bit sticky. It stays in my ear really well. It lasts about a week. I have to replace it every week because after a while it gets dirty. You know, you get the oils from your skin or whatever. Silicone can get squished down a little bit, and so you kind of fluff it up a little. I call it fluff it up. You just move it a little bit and make it conform back. So it's moldable, that's nice. But after about a week, it needs to be replaced. The one disadvantage of this solution is that this is made to repel water. So if your ear is wet, there's no way you're gonna be able to put these in and have them stay in because it's gonna repel that water and it's not gonna stick like it normally does. So that's a disadvantage. The other thing that I don't know, I haven't used these during the summer. So I don't know how well this will hold up with heat. So full disclosure, if you use this method, be careful, be aware if you use it during the summertime. But let me show you what this looks like. You pull these out, you use them, you put them back in, boom. Pull them out, use them, put them back in. It's almost like my ears actually fit these things. It's really nice. Let me show you what they fit like in my ear. Alright, so I've got the silicone AirPods, the silicone earplugs, and you can see on there I've got the silicone. Now what happens is it may press over this button. All you do is you just scrape that off with your fingernail, keep it from plugging the hole, throw that away, you know, the part that you scraped off. And these give you the good sound as well. So they help seal the ear. The advantage, like I said, is these actually stick in your ear. They provide a little bit of noise isolation, but they stick and they hold best of any of the, between these two. And of course the PodHoox hold excellent. But these hold up well up against my ear and provide a great sound. So I hope this was helpful for you if you have a similar situation. If it was, give me a thumbs up. I love comments. Let me know what you think. I look forward to doing another video on something else.